You're watching SNN, the Suncoast News Leader. This is SNN at 5.
Well, tonight, 2 people are dead after another shooting on a high school campus.
He was convicted of killing 2 British tourists visiting the Suncoast. Now, Sean Tyson's defense team is going before a judge once again.
Beaches, theme parks, sunshine, it's what makes Florida so great. So why is the Sunshine State now considered the most stressful? We'll explain.
Good evening, I'm Amber Stidham.
And I'm Mike Stevens. You're watching the Suncoast News Network. Tonight, another school shooting to tell you about. This time it's in Oregon. But parents around the nation, including here on the Suncoast, continue to be concerned about student safety. Let's get details now on what happened, including how school resource officers are credited with ending the drama. Mark Barger has more.
Terror this morning for city of a school shooting.
Now, tonight I've spoken with several Suncoast law enforcement agencies, and all are aware of what happened in Oregon. And it's because of incidents like this that many schools do what they call active shooter training. We're going to show you some video from Riverview High School last year when the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, the Sarasota Police, and various other first responders and school administrators did a very realistic drill. In this scenario, there was a bomb threat they had to deal with. Again, it was the Oregon school resource officers credited with ending the incident there today. Public schools in the Suncoast are now on summer break.
A convicted killer will have his case heard by a judge at the 2nd District Court of Appeals in Lakeland. Sean Tyson was sentenced to life without parole for killing 2 British tourists in 2011. Tomorrow, his defense will submit an argument to the court. During the process, the defense brings up pieces of evidence they believe were wrongly admitted by the court, and state is given an opportunity to refute those claims. After the arguments are heard, appeals judges can reject the appeal or call for a retrial and send the case back to a circuit court in Sarasota.
Errors made in the actual trial itself would require a new trial. Every now and then there's errors made in the sentencing where someone gets sentenced to an illegal sentence. They don't get a new trial. They're still convicted of the offense, but they get to go back in front of the judge that sentenced them, and they get to get resentenced.
Tyson's appeal argument will be heard tomorrow morning in Lakeland. Tune in to SNN at 5 for updates on this story. A Sarasota grocery store owner is charged after police say he had synthetic marijuana and designer drugs. Sarasota police arrested 31-year-old Rami Amen Abed Rabo after executing a search warrant for his business, Snacks Grocery. It's on Martin Luther King Jr. Way. That's where they say they found 395 packages of designer drugs. The search warrant was obtained following an investigation into illegal sale of spice from that store. A firearm and nearly $1,000 in cash and numerous drug paraphernalia items were also found behind the store's counter. He's charged with possession of designer drug and possession of controlled substance. He was released from the Sarasota County Jail after posting about $1,600 bail.
SNN Chief Meteorologist Justin Mosley is here. Justin, I'm not sure if I'm reading it properly. It seemed hot today, but not as humid as it could be.
Yeah, well, it is that time of the year in just a little bit.
Well, a major traffic jam on the Ringling Causeway at this hour. To show you, look at this video. The Coast Guard, Sarasota Sheriff's, Police, and Fire Departments all worked together to stop a woman in her mid-30s from jumping off a bridge just before 5 o'clock. Now, traffic at this hour is still heavy.
Big disconnect.
So anybody looking to get on Bird Key, Lido, St. Armands, or Longboat are going to be delayed because of what happened. But the bridge is open at this time. It's just that there's still a delay there because of the activity a little while ago. Sarasota Downtown Improvement District trying to decide how to spend their next allotment of money. The Downtown Improvement District, also known as DID, had a meeting Tuesday morning at City Hall to discuss its options. Some say the next big sum of cash should go toward a new and easier mode of transportation downtown, while others, like DID Chairman Ernie Ritz, say the money should go toward landscaping the 1600 block of Main Street up to 301.
It's a big disconnect when I'm going through the 1700 block and I get to the end of where the DID is. You can see all the plants in the landscaping stops, and then there's just the bare street there. So you probably get all the way up to the 1900 block when it gets nice again.
Well, the next meeting for that group is in 2 weeks at City Hall, where you are welcome. The topic of transportation versus landscaping in downtown Sarasota will be on the agenda.
Well, for many of us who live here, Florida is paradise, which is why many Floridians can't understand a new national real estate blog saying the Sunshine State essentially has a cloud over it. The blog rates the most stressful state in the country. Tonight, SNN's Grant Boxleitner has a closer look.
When you think of Florida County, Grant Boxleitner, SNN's Suncoast News Network.
And in case you were wondering, the survey ranked North Dakota as the least stressful. And may we add, very much colder.
Yeah, I can't imagine wanting to be in North Dakota over
Florida.
where we are.
No, I think we win.
Definitely.
All right, well, coming up next on SNN, the Suncoast News Network, the investigation continues after 5 American service members were killed in southern Afghanistan by friendly fire.
And it's been another hot but nice day here on the Suncoast. Again, you're looking at that traffic jam there on the causeway. We're going to have more on your forecast coming up in just a moment with Justin on SNN.
The Suncoast News Network is being brought
Review Media Group. This is SNN, the Suncoast News Leader.
Welcome back. Terrible news from Afghanistan tonight. The worst friendly fire incident of the nearly 14-year-old war there. 5 American soldiers confirmed dead, apparently killed by a U.S. airstrike that was supposed to be protecting them in the midst of an enemy attack. Steve Handelsman has more.
The U.S. Special Force terrible accident.
Well, the Pentagon promises a full investigation to the 5 families who are now dealing with the loss of their loved ones.
Proper handling of firearms is crucial for any gun owner, as shown in 2 recent incidents on the Suncoast of someone accidentally firing a gun, one of which resulted in death. To prevent accidentally firing a gun, law enforcement and retailers recommend always visually checking to see if a gun is unloaded when you pick it up. Also, always point the barrel away from the people and keep your finger off the trigger even when you think a gun is not loaded. And when storing a firearm, gun owners recommend using a safe and trigger locks. It's also important to know how the safety mechanisms on the gun work.
Understand the proper procedure for your particular firearm, because every firearm is a little bit different. Like I say, some have manual safeties, some have internal safeties, and it's your responsibility to know how that actually works. Get the proper training on it when you purchase the handgun if you're not familiar with it.
Gun store owners and law enforcement both recommend training for any new gun owner. High Noon Guns in Sarasota offers classes on a number of topics, including firearm safety. For more information on their class schedule, you can call 487-8460.
Yeah, I'm certainly not a gun expert, but I do remember when I used to go to the range shooting semi-automatics or revolvers. Mm-hmm. They're all different.
Yeah.
The mechanisms are a little bit different in each one, depending on which one it is.
Yep.
All right, we're glad to have our weather gunslinger back.
Weather gunslinger. I can do one of those water guns.
We want some water, a little bit.
We're going to get some falling from the sky as we head through the next couple of days. Rain chances are increasing for the Suncoast. We'll talk about those chances in your neighborhood coming up on SNN. Stay with us tonight.
To make the boulevard.
We'll see that.
All right, Justin, thanks. Well, some of us are better than doing things than others, especially multiple things at once. But is it men or women who have the edge?
Well, I think the answer is obvious, don't you?
Well, I may disagree with you, but I am outnumbered, so I'll be careful.
Many women believe they're better at multitasking, but recent studies take a look at whether that's actually true or not.
Well, in an article for the Chronicle of Higher Education, past studies were examined that sought to determine once and for all if it's men or women are better at juggling life's tasks, and found that the answer is really just not clear. One study last year suggests women are better at some kinds of multitasking.
Yeah, but another study cited in the article says there was a test of men and women's ability to watch and juggle many things on the computer, and in that study, the men were found to be more consistent.
We'll see. But then another study called it a draw because both men and women had a hard time doing multiple word games at once, and all had a much easier time doing just one. So if it sounds to you like the answer is still not clear, then you're probably right. But I will say, I do honestly think that women are better at multitasking.
Man, oh man, that's all I can say.
I don't think anybody's good at multitasking.
I think that actually is the point of the article.
Yeah, I would say so. We're probably bad at each of those things we're trying to do at once.
Yeah. Bucks opened their mandatory minicamp today, and they had a lot of attendance, full attendance, some guys more than others. I'll explain coming up in sports. I mean, a lot of people are focused, obviously, on LeBron James, and Dwayne Wade's kind of the second guy, and you kind of forget how good. He's a 9-time All-Star, Chris Bosh, and he was huge for the Heat down the stretch. All they have to do is win all their remaining games at home, and they will win the series. Third straight title.
Tonight is home, and is the next one at home also, or do they go back?
Home, and then it's San Antonio, and then back home.
They always forget about Chris Bosh.
He's a great player.
I know, he is. All right, thanks, Adam.
Yep.
Well, lots of people have guns, but how many know how to handle them safely? Coming up on SNN, the Suncoast News Network, experts give you tips after 2 recent accidental shootings.
And many of us call living in Florida a great life, but a new national blog calls it the most stressful state in the nation. We're going to show you why.
And the former owners of a local company that promised more than 100 jobs in exchange for municipal cash incentives before going is under fire.
All those stories and a whole lot more on SNN. We'll be right back.
You're watching SNN, the Suncoast News Leader. This is SNN at 5:30.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Mike Stevens.
And I'm Amber Stidham, and you're watching SNN, the Suncoast News Network. Well, over the past weekend, there were 2 incidents of accidental firing of a gun on the Suncoast, one of which resulted in a fatal injury. And SNN's John Woodruff spoke to local law enforcement officials and gun store owners on how you can prevent a similar mistake from happening to you. John.
Amber, according to the CDC, between 2000 and 2010, there were 7,515 unintentional deaths by firearms. But with proper training and precautions, there are ways to prevent becoming another statistic.
Anytime you have a firearm and it's your responsibility to know how that actually works.
Now, when you're purchasing a gun, especially if you're a first-time buyer, it's recommended that you take a safety course.
Any recommendations on those safety courses?
Well, High Noon has a pretty in-depth program. It's taught by Sarasota Sheriff's Office SWAT team members, and you can call the store for more information on that course at 941-487-8460.
Very important, John. Thanks.
Well, a national real estate blog gives Florida a dubious honor, the most stressful state in the union. A blog on Movoto.com ranked the states using 6 stress factors. Among them are long commute times, working hours, and population density. Florida was also penalized in the survey for a high number of people without health insurance.
Matter of fact, I'm a realtor, and I've never heard that. I mean, this is the most peaceful place on earth. There's nowhere I'd rather live.
Well, the good news is Florida edged out Georgia for #1 on the stress survey. Actually, I'm not sure if that really is good news. North Dakota, by the way, takes the honor for the least stressful.
All right, Justin, what is it? Is Florida stressful?
I don't think so. That is a check for now. When I come right back, we'll look at your 7-day forecast.
Well, Tuesday morning, Sarasota County commissioners unanimously voted to sue Sanborn Studios. The lawsuit is being filed nearly 4 years later for something the production company did, or I should say didn't do. The company owned by Ken Sanborn received a county financial incentive of $650,000 in 2010 in hopes of creating jobs for the local film industry. The county contends Sanborn never created the 117 jobs that were promised. And making meth at the library is what a Venice couple is accused of. Sarasota County Sheriff's deputies have arrested 28-year-old Raymond King and 23-year-old Tiffany Stoltz, a homeless couple. They are charged with making meth on the grounds of a Jacaranda library. The arrests were made after narcotics detectives says they received and verified a tip. Deputies say they found various components needed to make the drug nearby. After seeing the items taken from a backpack, both King and Stoltz are being held on $15,000 bail.
Well, perhaps you could say it's a good problem to have. The Sarasota Downtown Improvement District is trying to decide how to spend their next allotment of money. Should it be spent on more landscaping along Main Street up to 301 or develop some sort of new mode of transportation? SNN's Christy McClarty has more on the controversial question.
The downtown improvement. Sarasota, Chrissy McClarty, the Suncoast News Network.
Well, the next Downtown Improvement District meeting is in 2 weeks at City Hall, where you are welcome. And the topic of transportation versus landscaping in downtown Sarasota is going to be on the agenda. Well, less than a day after it was closed, a popular summer spot for kids in the Suncoast back open tonight. Sarasota city workers on Monday afternoon closed the Steigerwald Jockey Children's Fountain in Bayfront Park. The decision came after detecting lower than normal levels of chlorine. The city planned for the popular attraction to be closed for a week, but it was back open by late Tuesday morning.
Services came out this morning and were able to make some minor adjustments, and we're able to open again, thank goodness.
The playground next to the fountain in Bayfront Park remains closed, though indefinitely. The city is encouraging parents and kids to use the playground at nearby Payne Park.
And good time to be open. Water park's always a good thing.
Yep.
All right, well, for those wanting to get white teeth, what your dentist is pushing may not be the answer.
Yeah, still ahead on the Suncoast News Network tonight, we're going to show you another alternative.
News Media Group. This is SNN, the Suncoast News Leader.
A new study suggests a daily tomato pill may benefit people with heart disease. Researchers gave a group of heart patients either a placebo or daily supplement containing 7 milligrams of lycopene. It's an oxidant in tomatoes and other fruits. They found lycopene improved blood vessel function by almost 53% compared to those taking the placebo. Experts say a tomato pill would not be an adequate substitute for other heart disease treatments, but could be helpful when taken alongside other medications. Lycopene did not have any effect on blood pressure.
Well, there's no doubt that arguing with friends is unpleasant and stressful, but now a new study finds social conflicts may also harm women's health. Middle-aged women who reported more episodes of friend-related aggravation, disappointment, or criticism had significant jumps in blood pressure that never decreased. The effect was not seen in men or among women over 65. Researchers say this may be because younger women may still have other job and children-related stresses, while older women have learned to avoid negative people and situations. Negative interactions with children or spouses had no effect on blood pressure, by the way.
Well, forget whitening strips and special toothpaste, even professional whitening treatments.
Yeah, the answer to a brighter smile may be in the baking aisle at the grocery store. It's a new trend called oil pulling. Now, I'm not sure exactly what this is. I'm looking forward to seeing what Lauren Evans tells us.
People who do it.
Well, the oil pulling, by the way, is not a substitute for regular brushing, flossing, and dental checkups. And if you try it, experts say spit the oil into the garbage can, not the sink, because the coconut oil will solidify and can clog up your pipes.
Wow, 15 to 20 minutes, though. That's
a long
time to do that.
Yeah. Why don't you give it a try?
I might try it just to see.
Report back and let us know.
I will. A little experiment.
Well, weather conditions as we transition into weather. We've got warm and humid conditions across our area and a threat for thunderstorms making a comeback. Not much out there right now. We'll take a look at our 7-day forecast coming up. Pretty good. Rain chance 40%. Lower rain chances, though, as we head into the upcoming weekend.
All right, Justin, thank you. Fire crews still monitoring the West Broward brush fire Tuesday as it continued to burn. Nearly 20,000 acres have burned as of right now, though it didn't generate as much smoke today. The smoke forced the closure of a major highway Monday morning and reduced the air quality in Broward and Miami-Dade. Smoke lingered over the area for hours before the Florida Highway Patrol opened the road back up. Officials believe the fire was started by a lightning strike on Sunday. They're hoping rain will squelch the flames.
Budweiser and BP have joined the World Cup sponsors, pressing soccer's governing body, FIFA, to tackle corruption allegations over Qatar winning the bid for the 2022 tournament. The calls follow similar statements by Adidas, Coca-Cola, Visa, and Sony. Former U.S. prosecutor Michael Garcia is due to finish an investigation on FIFA's behalf into the decision to award the World Cup to Qatar in 2022 and Russia in 2018. He's expected to submit his report to FIFA in around 6 weeks weeks' time, and that will be about a week after the World Cup final in Brazil on July 13th. Soccer officials say Qatar could be stripped of the 2022 World Cup if Garcia finds evidence of corruption. Both Qatar and Russia deny any wrongdoing. Qatar's bid has been the subject of allegations that former head of soccer in Asia bribed colleagues around the world to secure the bid.
I watched a really disturbing story on the working conditions for workers in Qatar for the World Cup, and it was just awful. So, terrible stuff. Meanwhile, the Rays will start up a series with the red-hot St. Louis Cardinals. Tampa Bay is hoping to not set a franchise record for futility. I will explain that coming up. Plus, day one of the Bucs mandatory minicamp has 100% attendance, but some guys were there a little bit more than others. That explanation and more coming up in the next half hour in sports, guys.
All right, Adam, thank you. And next on SNN, the Suncoast News Network, surfers are known for seeking out the big waves.
But they also seek out what are called standing waves. Now surfers and kayakers are descending upon an unlikely spot to ride the river.
We're going to show you what it's all about on SNN. We'll be right back. Well, you may have heard of kayakers and rafters barreling down the same waterways, but surfers are also competing to get a spot, not in the ocean, but in the Colorado River. Karen Torres has more.
It's always nice.
It looks like fun. I don't know if it would be for me.
I would try it. I'd say so.
Adam?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely would try it.
Yeah.
Try once, you know.
Looks dangerous. I'd rather sit there with a remote in my hand, lemonade in the other hand, and just watch somebody else do it.
Could be entertaining.
All right, that is it for this hour of SNN. We're glad you're with us.
We'll be right back.
Yep.
If there